That's public areas.
Hello, YouTube. What's up? It's your man Blunt News. Listen, I I usually tune into Tariq Nasheed's videos. I subscribe to him. Although I have to be honest, I just got put onto this guy. I didn't know that much about him, but I like this brother. I like what he talks about. I like, especially when he talks about the game and all that stuff about women. I feel like I'm one of those guys that has game. You know what I mean? I've always had that positive game in me, and I've never had an issue with girls. And I've never got played like a sucker or anything like that. You know? And I'm not no simp nigga, none of that bullshit. Which is a new word I just learned, by the way. I'm down here in Miami, Florida. I'm originally from Brooklyn, but background Haitian. So let's get into it. I'm gonna lower this music a little bit. You know, my YouTube editing skills might not be so great. Actually, I gotta play this Nas part. Hold up. First of all, my favorite of all time is Nas. So yeah, damn. All right. Anyways, let me get back to this commentary. Like I said, Nas is just on another level. I want to make a video. You know, a lot of people make videos about their top 10 or top 5. They just play the song, and you know, there's a still picture in the background. My video is actually going to be. I'm going to explain why I like certain artists. My top 5 artists of all time might not be all hip hop. Who knows? But anyway, look, like I said, much props and much respect to the brother Tariq Nasheed. That man is smart. I like a lot of what he has to say. He's very good at articulating what he has to say. You know, when you listen to somebody, you got to see what they have to say. And I'm not ass kissing to get views. I know some dick out there probably already thinks that. But I got to give the man a shout out. Got to give him props. I was watching the 42-minute long video he had about cooning. I'm going to put the link in the bottom. Is it this way, that way, this way? Whatever. Anyway, nigga, the link's going to be there somewhere. And he was talking about cooning. Let me tell you something, man. When I listen to a Nas album, or I listen to a Pac album, or I listen to an album like even Eminem, because he's like top 5 for me. I love Eminem. But when I listen to certain things, even Michael Jackson, like I'll listen to certain things, Bob Marley, whatever. But I'm not gonna mention them all. A little bit of ADD here, but the point is, certain things move me. That 42 minutes was 44 minutes, or however long it was. There has to be at least 40 minutes in there, maybe 35 with the commercials and all that, of nothing but clarity. Clarity. This brother was speaking the truth. And I don't think most people really understand the cooning aspect of it. So, no disrespect to Tariq Nasheed, I'm going to get a little bit deeper into it. Because, you know, I don't have commercials, I don't have a radio show. I'm just one dude in his office talking shit and just, like he likes to say, spitting game. You know what I mean? Cooning. What is a coon? Like, basically, I don't think a lot of people really understand what a coon is. You know, the definite, first of all, in order for a person to be a coon, you don't just have to be black or white. It's not just a color thing. Now, we're going to use it in the color aspect of things right now. But when a person is cooning, ladies and gentlemen, that person is basically kissing ass and sucking dick and being a bitch. So in any particular level, there's coons, there's assholes, you know, there's bitches out there. I'm not talking about a female. I'm talking about people who don't respect themselves and act like hoe as shit. Ratchet shit. I'm about to get into it. First of all, I completely, and for some reason I was trying to reply to the video with the video and I couldn't do it. So I had to, you know, I'm doing a video and I'm going to post it on the comment, you know, hopefully he allows people to click on my link. If he doesn't, but I'm gonna send it to his personal inbox because this is kind of like this is an amazing video that he put out there. First of all, my sentiments exactly on the Chad Ochocinco situation with Stephen A. Smith. I'm gonna get into a coon. I'm gonna use him as a coon. Stephen A. Smith is sitting across a guy who he has admittedly called the Joker. This guy picks and chooses the athletes he wants to give congratulations to. His name is Skip Bayless. He's a fucking piece of shit. Period. If you listen to Skip Bayless talk, you think he's the greatest athlete of all time. Skip Bayless made his name by sucking Jordan's dick. And now he thinks, because he's around Stephen A. Smith, who is a loudmouth Negro, talks a lot of shit. Stephen A. Smith has been cooning for white people and for the establishment for a very long time. Now let me explain something to you. When us intelligent black folks say white people, we're talking about the establishment of white supremacy that has dominated this country from slavery. Well, hold up, time out. Let me go back. Time out. Let me go back some more. Let me rewind. Yeah, oh yeah, I forgot. For the time they set foot on the Mayflower and landed, quote unquote, on Plymouth Rock, there's a system of white supremacy that has been in this Western Hemisphere. They disregarded the Indians, massacred them, treated like shit. Now where are the Indians? And reservations, highest rate of suicide in the fucking world. Another topic for another time. In order for white people and black people, Hispanic, Asian, Native American, which is the correct term by the way, because they are natives. There are about 500 different tribes. In order for those people, all of us, to get to the point where we need to move forward in so-called post-racism, we need to understand the past. Those who are accountable need to be held accountable. Apologies have to be contrite and honest. The situation that happened with that fucking football player from Philadelphia, I forgot his name. I'm not really a big football fan. I'm a basketball guy. Who made that nigger comment and got the pass that he got by all these so-called black athletes. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, these athletes do not want to be called black athletes. From a very long time, Charles Barkley told you he did not want to be a role model. Okay, from a very long time. Stephen A. Smith has been cooning and talking shit about black athletes for a very, very long time. Remember when he had his show? Remember when he had his show on ESPN? His nightly show on ESPN. We don't really remember anything about that show, but what do we remember? Him attacking black athletes. If you go on YouTube, you put the Stephen A. Smith show on ESPN, the very first thing that comes up is him talking about black athletes. On his radio show on ESPNradio.com or whatever it is in New York. All you remember about him is talking shit about black athletes. This is not the first time, ladies and gentlemen, that he's done what he's done. I'm not too surprised. Because you have to understand, the show First and 10 was not Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith. It was Skip Bayless versus any motherfucker who was going to go on the show, and Skip Bayless was going to defend him. Attack the people, and those people had to defend their positions. Stephen A. Smith, you could tell he's a loudmouth. He talks a lot of shit, but he really stands for not that much. He will make money for any network because he is controversial, because he's loud. Oh, it's blasphemous. How dare you? And all these other things that he says. But there's a Stephen A. Smith in every black barbershop. There's a Stephen A. Smith in every single black basketball court, football field, anything. The guy who's on the sideline who doesn't play, who played a little bit, but he's much better at talking. That guy, there's a Stephen A. Smith everywhere. There's one of you everywhere, Stephen A. Smith. You're the guy who didn't make it, but found a niche by talking. Hey, look. More power to you. This is America. This is why I'm here. Huh. If that's the case, I'll go back to my parents' country. But this is America. This is why I'm here. This is why I was born here. This is why I love it. Because you can make anything out of anything. But anybody who doesn't agree with what Tariq was saying about Stephen A. Smith being a coon is just a fool. He's been cooning for a very long time. How many times did you see this guy bash Chad Ochocinco? Matter of fact, when the Chad thing happened, because Chad tapped his lawyer on the butt, ooh, oh my God, he committed a grave error, big sin. He disrespected the judicial system. They gave that man 30 days in jail. Stephen A. Smith sat there and said, if you guys invite Chad Ochocinco on the show, I will walk out of the set. Because he was so disgusted with Chad. You know, guys like Stephen A. Smith, Charles Barkley, when he made that Trayvon Martin comment, that's another thing that they brought up. Like I said, it was 40 minutes of bliss. I loved it. They touched about Larry Elder and the other guy I'm not even going to talk about. Those guys are just, we could kind of tell they're paid by the CIA, part of COINTELPRO, to continue the bullshit. So those guys are beyond appalling. I don't want to talk about those guys. In any African country, they'd be lynched. So, you know, I don't even want to get, I'm not advocating violence. I'm just saying those guys are pieces of shit I don't need to talk about. Charles Barkley, a man who I like. I love the way he played. Matter of fact, quite frankly, when I play basketball, a lot of people say, oh, hey, what's up? People know me down here in Miami as Barkley because I talk a lot of shit on the court. But unlike Stephen A. Smith, I know how to ball. But anyway, Charles Barkley came out and said, first of all, Charles Barkley's a fucking idiot. You know, Charles Barkley had an argument with Michael Savage, which Michael Savage completely destroyed Charles Barkley. Michael Savage is a known racist. But I have to give credit where credit's due. He completely destroyed Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley has made millions and millions after his basketball career for being a fat buffoon on television. Okay? Like I said, people call me Barkley because I'm overweight and I play ball and I talk a lot of shit. I happen to be a little funny on the court. Yada, 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 yada. Whatever. But Charles Barkley has made a bunch of money by going on there, taking all these types of, getting on a scale and actually, look, it's comedy. I love it. But if you're a fucking idiot, don't talk about things that are over your head. You played basketball. You're a dumb American jock basketball player. Stick to that. You've been kissing Michael Jordan's ass for God knows how long. I watched an interview in which, with Michael Jordan and Oprah, Michael Jordan is dissing you. Everybody's always dissing you. They're dissing you, and you're sitting there talking about, well, you're in a tracksuit looking like, like you're in a motherfucking 12-step program trying to lose weight, and Michael Jordan is looking like Michael Jordan. You feel me? Like, stellar. As game up. Because he was going to be on what? The Oprah Winfrey Show. So he figured out, maybe I should dress a little bit better. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, you sat there, you talked so much shit about LeBron James. As a former player, that's disrespectful as fuck. You sat there and you talked so much shit about Kobe. You sat there, you talked so much shit. What I feel, Mr. Charles Barkley, is that not only are you a coon, because you defended the Arizona things where they were profiling Latinos, so you're beyond, you're reprehensible. You're trying to be the governor of Alabama. So you're trying to make, blacks are going to vote for you. But you're trying to make yourself a little bit more likable. Not just to the whites, but to the redneck base. And let me tell you something. I don't give a fuck about Alabama. Alabama's a redneck, piece of shit. Who goes to Alabama for vacation? Nobody. Mississippi, Alabama, maybe Texas people go there, but Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, outside of Atlanta, there's nothing really going on in Georgia. South Carolina, Wyoming, Montana, Minnesota, Idaho. Who the fuck goes these places? Really? Who goes there? If those places are what made up the majority of America, America will be a third fucking world country. Okay? So you're trying to run for governor, or I should say president. Those guys, that's really how they really think they're governor is the president and all that. But whatever. So you're trying to make yourself into this Christian, black, conservative, and you're going to talk down to the black guys because you want these white guys to vote for you. Educated white people see through that shit. Anybody who's educated sees that racism is wrong. Fuck the bullshit, man. What's wrong is what's wrong. If I'm crossing the street and there's an elderly lady who fell down, I have an obligation to go back and pick her up. I don't give a fuck if I'm going to be late to work. Because what's wrong is what's wrong. Mr. Charles Barkley, you said, and just to show how stupid you are, I agree with the verdict. Part 1, that's your opinion. Fine. There was no evidence. Part 2, that is your opinion. Fine. But then part 3, you say, well, there was racial profiling involved. What? Hold up. If racial profiling is involved, isn't it? So, and the guy who got racial profiled is dead, wouldn't that make the person who did the racial profiling guilty of at least aggravating the situation? So thus for, it makes us believe a little bit more beyond a reasonable doubt that he was the aggressor. Mind you, he had a gun. He didn't point the gun and say, hey, get off me. He followed Trayvon Martin. They told him not to follow. Oh, well, it's not against the law to follow. It's against the law if we tell you not to follow and you follow and something happens. You and I both know, Charles Barkley, if it was you, Charles Barkley, that had followed a young white kid, Mr. Spit on people, Mr. Kicking people and shit, Mr. Throwing people out of balconies and all that shit. If it's your Michael Jordan ass-kissing self that did that to a white boy, a young white kid, you would have been in jail. The new OJ. And you would have wanted all the black guys to kumbaya and sit with you and stand with you and pray for you. But I have to be honest with you. If you, Mr. Charles Barkley, had killed a black kid, you would have gotten away with it. Because of your ideology and what you subscribe to and the people in that county, what they believe in. That dumb Jory B, whatever her name was, who kept talking, who tried to get a book deal, but they didn't want to give one to her. But she never appeared on camera. That fucking cunt, I bet you she's a fat cunt. Yes, I'll say it right now. Why she never appeared on camera? You see, I truly believe a lot of you guys see it as a career furthering opportunity to continue to feed your families, to continue to better yourself by pointing out the ills of the black community. When Don Lemon got on CNN and said, blacks need to pull their pants up and this and that. Well, Don, quick question. When are you going to make a video about white kids who are fucked up? You won't. Because you work for who? CNN. So you have to coon. I'm not saying that blacks should not pull their pants up, but the point is, why do you feel the need to go on CNN and talk about it? Is that new? No. The best way to get, let me tell you something. I have a lot of people that come to me and say, you know what? I want to buy a house, but I don't want to be in a black neighborhood. I can't, because of my profession, I can't sit there and get into details with them about what neighborhood is what race. But as a human being, I sit there and in my heart, and I think and I say to myself, well, what kind of person says that? And let me tell you something. Most people say. Because our minds are warped. If someone keeps repeating a lie constantly, the bigger the lie, the more we're going to believe it. When I read Mein Kampf, Hitler's autobiography, so quote unquote, his basically manifesto, that's what it was. He said that. He said, the bigger the lie, the more people are going to believe it. That's why you have guys like Professor Griff out there calling every successful black person part of the Illuminati. And you fools believe him. You guys believe every single thing he says. Anyways, it's 20 minutes, so I'm going to wrap this shit up. But props to my man Tariq Nasheed for what he said. Tariq did a fine video. And let me tell you something. The fact that we got booty shaking videos that get more play than these guys is a sad thing. There's no such thing as shortage of black leaders. They're just not being published out there. They don't want us to know about these guys. I do my research and I'm proud to say I am a subscriber. So anyone that wants to subscribe to me, I guess you click on the button wherever it's at. But like I said before, Props to that video. 40 minutes of bliss. I want to thank you for dropping that video and dropping the knowledge and the gain that you did. And I don't think a lot of people want to hear it, but it has to be said. Thank you so much. And oh yeah, by the way, Pastor Manning, Larry Elder, Miss Armstrong. Oh yeah, I forgot. I gotta go. Before I go, this is one girl. Her name is Crystal Wright. Listen, let me say something about Crystal Wright. Crystal Wright has the poor mulatto syndrome. Okay, the tragic mulatto. You know, I'm black, but I'm also white, and you know, Crystal Wright knows the game. She knows the game. She opens up a little website called Conservative Black Chick. She knows the game. She knows to make money. She knows she's gonna get a pass from the white people because she looks as close to them as possible. She's gonna get a pass from the black guys because if a black guy goes at her, all of a sudden he's a misogynistic. Well, call me a misogynistic, but fuck you. You're full of shit. You're full of nonsense. It's the same thing. Oh, blacks commit crimes. Whites commit crimes too. Blacks are racist too. How the fuck can we be racist when we don't own shit? We ain't stopping nobody from voting. We ain't stopping nobody from going to school. We're not burning crosses. We're not bombing kids. What do you mean? We're not indiscriminately stopping people on the street because of the race of the color of the skin. We're not looking at applications if it has a name like Tariq Nasheed, whatever, denied. We're not doing that, bro. So how the fuck are we racist? Get out of here, man. Yeah, we might not like certain white people for what they've done to us in history. That's part of life. If I'm a homosexual, why would I like somebody who just killed someone because of homosexuality? Why would I like somebody who says that homosexuality is a sodomy and it'll be burnt or whatever? Why would I like that shit? If I subscribe to Islam, if I'm a Muslim and that's what I believe in, why would I want to vote for some motherfucker who says that we're all terrorists? And if I'm a Jewish person, for Christ's sakes, I'm Jewish, why would I want to vote for neo-Nazis? Why would I want to vote for somebody if I'm of Jewish faith? My background is Jewish, I'm also a Jewish faith. Why on earth would I want to subscribe to those who think that we are Christ killers and who are persecuted and hunting me throughout the world? So as a black person, why the fuck would I want to be a Republican? I don't give a shit if you're anti-abortion, anti-gay rights. You need to change that within the Democratic Party if that's what you truly believe in. But don't tell me you're going to be a Republican, because they've done more to harm us than anybody else. People say, well, back in the day, LBJ was Republican. Listen, the party was changing. A lot of stuff was changing. You really think the Republican Party now is what it was during the Lincoln days? And if you really think that Lincoln loved black people, then you are a fool. But that's another topic. So Crystal Wright, you can suck my dick, bitch. Call that shit misogyny, whatever you want to call it. You're full of shit. And I know I'm doing a lot of cursing. It might not get played, but I don't give a fuck. The bottom line is I come on YouTube to do nothing but rant. And I'm going to rant about how I feel. It might be, you know, a lot of cursing going on. But children are not allowed of my shit anyway. So, whatever. Bottom line is, at the end of the day, if you are a black Republican, you're a fucking fool. Now I'm going to play my song because that song sounds hot. But let me tell you something, man. You don't have to be a coon to live right. Fuck off. Oh, that shit's already done. Fuck it. No song. I'm just going to stop this shit.